pressure, you get diamonds out of rock. And it's the same with the human character when our dreams are dumbstruck. In a jail, two men looking out through the same bars. One will fail cause he see mud while the other sees stars. So while pressure humbles the meek, it strengthens who earnestly seek. It's the barometer that measures the strong and the weak. Martin Luther and South Africa Nelson Mandela, darkness in their jail cell couldn't dim their lights. And civil rights atrocities only fuel more energies. For the more injustice rages, the more they fight. And for 27 years, Nelson Mandela suffered, and from jail became president of South Africa. You know why? He had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Ooh, he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Calypso Showcase. Well, as one piece of royalty leaves our show in the person of the Queen of the Universe, Miss Wendy Fitzwilliam, we have tonight as our special guest another monarch, this time the Calypso monarch of Trinidad and Tobago in the person of the mystic Prowler, Roy Lewis. Prowler, welcome to Calypso Showcase.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Alvin.
All right. Now, I suspect I know where the mystic came into your career, but how did the name Prowler first was adopted by you?
Oh, well, you see, Prowler, automatically, the reputation of the word Prowler, which is, you know, one who invade, you know, who take over, who probably might be sneaking up.
Lurking in the night.
You're right.
So suddenly punks.
Right. In the Calypso field now, you find I might do damage in that way.
As
in music,
Prowler,
yeah. So, you know, someone may say, well, he steal away the place that night. The way he sing, the way he express himself. Oh, boy, he stole the show, you know?
Yeah, so
just as
Prowler.
Yeah, use that word.
And the mystic, obviously, that's a crucial point in your career.
Yeah, well, the mystic really came from my religious belief of I went to study, you know, metaphysics. And then during that time, after, I used to carry Mighty Prowler, you remember?
Yes, the Mighty Prowler is what your first sobriquet was.
Yeah, I used to carry Mighty Prowler, but as I went to some studies in metaphysics, go to churches and all that, I came back with the name, the Mystic Prowler, which is add to Prowler now, Mystic.
One of the things that has amazed me is how in the past couple of years you've been able to become an entrepreneur of sorts now with your own place at Citygate. Tell me about the idea behind that and how it developed and came to fruition.
Well, actually, you know, I work in 3 banks. I used to work with Chase Manhattan Bank, and I used to work with National Commercial Bank, and then I work with First Citizen Bank. So one day, you know, after staying in the bank with First Citizen for over, let's say, about 12 years, I decided was to leave the bank and go on my own. I was getting an urge to go on my own. I didn't care where, I didn't know where I was going to fall, where I was going to meet. But I have a good friend called Edison Isaac. You know, he tell me one day, after I retired from the bank, he called me and he said, Roy, money does finish, boy, and that money you have is going to finish. And so that time I had also buried my brother from some of the money I got from the bank. And he tell me, he say, PTSC is opening places where they renting booths. So if I'd like, I could come down and see a place and choose a place and open up a little bar. So I decided to take the opportunity to go down to view the area, which is where I am in Citygate. And when I got down there, I saw the place and I saw it was fruitful. Studied the marketing, which is, the traffic is about 150,000 people per day pass through there, you know. And after I applied, and they were kind to me, I also get bank reference. I was in bank already.
So you had no problem with that?
So that's how I come to own that place down there.
Since you've been the monarch of Trinidad and Tobago for this year, what has life been like?
Oh, but hectic. hectic because before I became Monarch, I had a great association with Angostura. You know, I go and do shows for them, White Oak, and now I'm supposed to be in Tobago tomorrow to do some shows from Tobago, and then when I get back now, I'm going to be doing other shows locally with Angostura. Well, I've been to Radio City, you know that. I performed there with Sparrow and Ronnie.
For the Mother's Day show?
Yeah. And then I was in Caracou just recently, one Saturday night. And I'm booked for 4 cities again. This will be from November 21st to December 6th. I'll be going to Boston and Atlanta and Brooklyn. And
you know, a lot of the artists who get to travel are mostly those who have, let's say, sung the party tunes, the soca tunes, the up-tempo tunes. How have you been received with your style of tunes, the humor and the social commentary?
Well, these songs are really dear. Still, you know, they're appreciated still, you know, because, but you see what is happening is that the people, everybody get carried away with the party tunes, you know, because it's a faster dollar. Now, wherein the songs that I sing, it take a lot more lyrics to remember, more melodies to remember, and everything. So you find my songs that I'm doing, which is like Look Below the Surface. When I hit Radio City with that song, it was well received, and Brooklyn Center.
Do you think there's emerging a place for the conscious lyrics Calypsonian?
Yeah, there will always be a place for that. Because, and then again, it depends on the writer. Eh? Now, for instance, Gregory Ballantyne, which is GB, my writer. GB, the way he blends words and put words together. His songs go over, many songs that he wrote went over well. But I don't know, probably he hadn't a good singer at that time.
Well, he's got a good singer in the person of the Mystic Prowler. Tell us something about the Calypsonians that have emerged in the early part of your career and who you sort of admire and pattern yourself after.
Well, during my time, I was born a poor fellow, and we hadn't radio, you know. And, you know, I used to listen to songs by Blakey, by Cypher, by Small Island Pride, by Sparrow. You know, I'd like to hear these fellas, and I love the clearness of the voice. And I used to like the clarity how they sing, and I used to adopt myself from that kind of way of singing with it.
And if you had to recommend there for a young fella coming into the art, what would you tell him?
Well, I'll tell him learn to play an instrument. Learn to play either the guitar or something that he could develop his perfect pitch. You know, there's nothing perfect, but the musicians, the writers of music call it a perfect pitch, which is these fellas who sing tenor, these tenor voice men, they have that kind of pitch. Learn an instrument, and I'll tell him stay away from drugs and get an education.
Well, that's good words from the Mystic Prowler. And what we want to do tonight is sort of look at the Calypso career of the Mystic Prowler. Later, as usual in the show, you get an opportunity to talk to the Calypso monarch of Trinidad and Tobago for a change. So get your fingers sharpened as you get a chance to talk to him later. And we take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we go down to the Mass Camp pub where he virtually lives at the Mass Camp pub. We talk to the Mystic Prowler. Where did it all begin?
Where?
Where and when did it all begin?
It all began in 1966 at the Calypso Caravan, which was managed by Lord Superior in Duke Street, and stardom there was Lord Kitchener. And that's my first break into professional Calypso. But in 1966, that same year, I won an all-star show on television along with Relator. We sang as Roy and Bunny. That was 1966. And then I branched off professionally with the Lord Kitchener, sang School Days and the Duties of a Citizen, and a song called Sukani.
So you would say your first song was School Days?
My first professional Calypso? Yeah, it was School Days. And
give me a little reminder of it.
They say that school days is the best days of all, and I quite agree. What you do as a boy, you can't do again at 20 or 33. My days at school, I learned a lot. I could afford to tell. In dictation and spelling, them children used to catch hell because a teacher came in the class one day. She tell a boy spell blind. Say, watch the teacher good in the face. And if he going out in mind, he say, miss, I cannot spell that. I really don't know. You better give me something to spell. Something small like a mosquito. That, I just tell you.
Well, I remember as years developed, you participated in a number of buy local competitions.
Yeah.
And in fact, you and Relator were a team, as it were.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, those are the days when I was studying music. I used to study orchestration guitar, to play the guitar, and I met Relator because we were very close friends. He also was playing the guitar. And then we became friends. And after we won the television All-Star show together, which is 1966, in 1966 we decided to try a television to sing, and he did the vocal, the lead vocal, and I did the backup. And we sing a song on television. I don't even remember some line. Like, in those days, they had the Roaring 20s on television. You had the Shadow, the man who plays the Shadow. We had, those programs change so much now.
Yes.
But from that day, we win the All-Star show on television. We decided to go to the buy local competition. We sang a tune called Buy Local. That was the first tune that we sang. I sang about the products. It was a P&M buy local jamboree show. Sang about the products of Trinidad and Tobago. I did the lead vocal at that time, and he did the chorus work. And we won it for 3 years, 67, 68, and 69.
While I remember you participating in the buy local, one of the most outstanding performances that I recall as far as you were concerned was a tune that dealt with the Madmen. And that it was almost like your signature tune, which you sang at the Sparrows Young
Yeah,
Brigade.
oh yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, that's the days when they had now closed the train. They had come to the conclusion of closing train from running Trinidad. And I and Relator, we went to El Sicuro. I used to live El Sicuro. All those are the days when I was studying music, studying the guitar. We went to El Sicuro and we composed that song, Train on the Mad People. And that is train transporting some men from San Fernando on that 515 train Prowler book to go, yeah.
Train transporting some men from San Fernando on that 515 train Prowler book to go. Train transporting some men from San Fernando on that 515 train Prowler book to go. So it's when traveling down, I'm about to realize that these people are not fully civilized. The way they laughing loud and getting on bad. I come to one conclusion, that these people mad. I'm just smoking a cigarette from through his nose. One dancing without music, his body exposed. So they straight up and go straight, as everyone know. I'm asking if we nearly reach.
I opened that album with Crystal doing the MC, and Blakey was on that album. Cypher that year, he won Calypso Monarch with last election. Last election had so much fun. Yeah. And then Rose sing Fire Fire, and then Crusoe Kid sing about the Smart Bajan, and then we have Canary, all these fellas was on that album. I remember that album.
Sat down there and attacks in my brain, wondering why they should take these people by train. Things getting worse, I don't know what to do. I figure if I stay longer, I may turn my two. So right away, I pick up my bag and baggage. I try to walk over to our next carriage. When I reach over, I swear that I well settled. I bounce up with a fresh set of my people. I just play driving a car, keep pushing in gears. And next one petting bite at the driver ears. What made me laugh quite happily? I'm not eating sawdust for chili, baby.
What was it like singing in a tent like the Mighty Sparrows Young Brigade?
Well, in those days I was just 23 years old, eh? I remember I had a friend who used to tell me, boy, you're going and bunch among these big boys singing, boy. Get me scared, but I always know I had the intonation and the perfect pitch. Now, there's nothing perfect, but musicians call it the perfect pitch in singing. So I know I had no fear. And when I went to Sparrow, and I created an impact, and then I worked at Sparrow from there until 1972.
You always had a flair for the humorous side of Calypso?
Yeah, but I always like humor. I always like crowd reaction. But since I've reached this elite stage in Calypso now, I realize judges don't depend on crowd reaction.
But a little more depth.
Yeah.
There is a point in your career where you decided to come out of Calypso. Give us a story of that.
Well, that time I used to study great people. Like I studied Martin Luther King, I studied Jesus, I studied the life of Mahatma Gandhi. I studied most of these great spiritual fellows, and there's a feeling that was coming on me. This is when I wrote "A Man is a Man when he thinking clean." And then
I'd like you to give me a couple of lines of that.
A man is a man thinking clean. I would take the blame if a man said the mighty Prowler insane. Tell you, I am feeling bad if tongue said the mighty Prowler gone mad. I have studied far and made a discovery that man is a spirit living in this body. Well, this one go make you jump out your shoes. When I describe man, please don't get confused. What I want you to understand, you see, the body is the human form of the man. Man is spirit, body, and soul. That is how I see man in this world. So pretty pants and shirt don't really fool me. All that is costume for the human body. I am going to tell you what I really mean. Now a man is a man when he thinking clean. Now a man is a man when he thinking clean.
Another one of your signature tunes, if I may say so.
Yeah. And when I was singing these songs, Crystal will tell me these songs are not for the Calypso tent. You know, they are for church, and I sing in church songs. And then the judges too, when they come to the tent, they say, the song is not pertaining to Carnival. So all this get me discouraged, and then I had to find myself. I had to know if I'm really supposed to sing Calypso. I get a lot of criticism from a lot of people. So this day in 1972, when I sing Human Tragedies, a priest by the name of Reverend Griffith, you know, he's in Marabella Church, church in St. Martin, named St. Clement. He came to see me at the tent. And he told me they're going to have a big rally in church, and he like me to come and sing these two songs. A Man is a Man Thinking Clean and Human Tragedies. And then from there, my career began with church. I said, well, the best thing to do is to go to the backside of the desert, like Moses, and find out my real mission. So I went there and I studied. And this is a study from 1972 to 1985. And then I came back now and then. Well, I was told that my mission is to sing Calypso.
Well, let's talk about your return into Calypso. And I want to touch on one aspect, the sort of cabaret style that you have developed, where you can sing the repertoire of some of the older bards,
yeah,
some of those that are deceased, people like Spoiler, Christo, Lord Kitchener, and others. What prompted that direction?
Well, I'll tell you, that did come true from my studies also in church. Because after I went to church, I became the song leader for the church. So I had us to sing songs, like you have sacred songs, which is songs for communion, you have songs of praise, you have songs of joyfulness. So the pastor used to use me to sing. So while singing, I used to go back into the hymn book and pick all the songs, because every song has a key. There's a key to every song.
The right key for it.
Yeah, there's a key, a right key. The great musician tell you, this is why they always say you have to find the pitch for the song. So I used to get the pitch, and from there I developed, you know, singing, and I will go from song into song in church, from song into song, and then from that same idea, I realized Calypso have the same jigsaw puzzle in putting songs together, and this is where I learned the art.
Trinidad is the land of Calypso. Trinidad is the land. We join the festival. That is Trinidad. Come, I'm inviting you. It's the Prowler. Yes, we have the greatest festival. That is Trinidad. So tourist day, I met her the night she came. And she curious me, asking about my country. She said, I heard about Bacchanal and the Trinidad Carnival. I look up come to join in the fun, and I want you to tell me how it is done. So I tell her, come in, talk to him morning, find yourself in a van. Hey, what's your way on the head to moving up? Sing along with the tune they play, and I want to hear you shouting, play my song.
Let's talk about particularly one or two Calypsonians. Let's take Spoiler. What is your assessment of Spoiler, and which are your favorite songs by Spoiler?
Well, my assessment of Spoiler is that Spoiler songs are just the same. The Spoiler songs are sung in a key, and once you found the key to that song, right, you're able to get the perfect pitch and then deliver. And when you deliver, someone here, it sounds like the original. Someone say, he sing just, and you know, you create the same impact.
My sister was suffering not a brain, so she went for an operation by Dr. Zane. My sister had problem with her brain, so she went for an operation in Port of Spain. Now the doctor take the brain from my sister head, and for wickedness put in a cartoon instead. My sister brain he put it in the kitty, so she turned the cat and the cat turned she. In the night the trouble started. She up and down the house, ransacking the bedroom looking for mouse. And the cat behind she prayed, the cozy on the bed, busting kiss on top while she was running. Pretzels, tomato, and salad leaves. The cat will have a chair and sit down, of course. Name cat language she calling for pepper sauce. This time my sister in business suitable at all. She only searching for the few grains of rice that fall. Otherwise she in the kitchen with a big ugly cat, hunting down all them cockroach, beetles and rats. In the night the troll start. Up and down the house, ransacking the bedroom looking for mouse. And the cat behind she prayed, cozy on the bed, buzzing kiss on top while she was running.
Any others that you particularly like singing?
Of Spoiler? Yeah, I like to do Wars of Long Ago. I find Wars of Long Ago as a soul-to-soul feeling. I love even Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That's a very good song. Yeah, and even, well, some funny things has happened, which is picking sense out of nonsense. All that is beautiful song by Spoiler.
Every morning you wake in a Trinity, you come to see or hear something that's funny. Every morning you wake in a Trinity, you come to see or hear something that's funny. Just imagine an Indian fella named John, forbidden by a pipe, naked as he born. A police pass and say, hey, you nasty old man, put on something before send to the police van. Well, I say he was lucky to get the chance. He will go inside and put on a bathing pants. You know the man put on something that you don't like. Yes, the gentleman went and put on a tie.
Crystal is also great. I love Crystal works. I love his lyrics, his well put together lyrics, and he was very humorous, so which I do appreciate.
Yeah, man, this morning at I look, Crystal went to buy pizza. This morning at I look, Crystal went to buy pizza. A woman walked inside and the grocery in front of everybody. Took up a cold box of chicken chest, promptly concealed it below she dressed. And she did this cold box of chicken chest. Box of chicken chest was one of the I had was to watch her. This lady a great influencer. Down at Iowa grocery, the cash and carry is the policy. The lady said in Spanish, in a comprende cash and carry blank. So she decided to try and lose, but Maggie printed it on the evening news. How she take this
One of the songs that people associate with you and they don't really realize it was originally done by the Lord Funny is the Accident Policy. And talk about how you have kept that song alive and updated it as you go along.
Accident Policy is clever. The idea of itself is clever, and it don't rest there. You see, Funny take the song and rest the song there. But every day, every week, every month almost, we have something that is accidental that we could sing on. Yeah.
Well, I'm an insurance salesman selling accident policy. Can't you? Is anyone here when I do have one? Brother, why don't you call on me? Accident will happen. I tell you, it may come to pass. Now you may be in bed and you're resting your head. He will cave in and bust your accident will happen. You take that from me. I tried to sell Michael Jackson an accident policy. I said, Michael, now that you're married to Presley's daughter, you need proper security. Michael Jackson, he slammed the phone, telling me, Prowler, the reason I'm married so fast. Say I want to prove to the world I stopped freeing Willie in them little boys.
Well, we want to get to the last 2 years of your career because I think while people knew of you, they knew of your ability, they never treated you as a serious person when it comes to, say, let us say, major competitions.
Yeah.
Last year, the PC Man saw you back in the Calypso tent in a big way, gaining, I've seen up to 7, 8 encores in one night.
Yeah.
How did that begin, the relationship between you and GB?
Well, actually, I've studied GB writing. I heard GB do songs like, what's the song? There's a joke song. It's so good to be joke-free. Right?
The future belongs to you.
Right. I heard GB did that. I study his lyrics because being studying the Word of God, I depend a lot on words. And I look at words a lot. And the feeling it brings across, which is soul to soul. GB writing is soul to soul. GB writing is soul to soul. So I study GB writing, and one day I asked him, I say, hey, I'd like to get a song. And then he bring Trini Kutzel. That's what did it in humorous for me. But I didn't do justice to that because I was getting confused with a lot of things.
In fact, the earlier part of the show, you were looking like one of the favorites, and then something went wrong by the semi-final and the final night.
I didn't, the perfect key to that song, I didn't approach it that way. I sang it out of key that night. For me, my voice level and pitch. And then from there, GB, he said he has something else against me, which is the computer. And I find the computer was so international. When he bring it for me and
topical.
Topical. And it could relate to anywhere in the world about the computer because right now we're living in the computer age. So I did the computer. But I just had one song in those days. But I had a good friend. His name is Edison Isaac. And he kept telling me, Roy, I wanted to come off the comedy plane and just start singing serious songs. He said, you could do it. Sing serious song. I say, okay. Well, after I did the computer, that was 1997, I was adjudicated the most humorous Calypso that year from NCC. GB bring a vision of 2010 for me.
The year is 2010, my vision is bold. National unity finally take hold. Jack Barrage as Prime Minister, come along my friend. Lay with you Trinidad in the year 2010. There's plenty changes in the old scenario. Shot control Trinidad and Tobago. No more red house in Port of Spain. In yellow it now prevail. If you say amen when you pray, you could make a jail. Church communion is no bread and wine. It's that and Paul and you sign. With a chutney hymn rising and falling behind. Why national unity? Shot we controlling we. National unity. Shot finally on top. Oh, national unity.
in the semi-final, if you notice, I sang Look Below the Surface first.
Yes.
In the semi-final. And in the night in the savannah, GB changed his strategy and GB said not going with Look Below the Surface. I didn't fight him, but I was wondering what is happening.
Yeah.
And GB said we're going with 2010 first, Put on Your Pajama.
He banished and Jack to Guaya, bring them down to stubbles, and give the John Towers to Ali for selling doubles. He will giving free passage to India and back, only to those who want family on the Patel Razak. He pulled down Kitchener from the Roxy area. I put a statue with Panday standing on Jones Beamer there. The school feeding menu fix. Every day is a bhaji punch. Korea loaf for tea, breakfast and lunch. The national anthem now in chutney. Panorama news broadcast in Hindi. And the bomb newspaper on the syllabus in UE. National unity, shot we control in we. National unity, shot finally on top. Oh, national unity, protest insanity. National unity, somebody wake me up.
Well, I remember when I was doing the new releases late last year,
Yeah.
and you said you had these two songs. I had heard about the year 2010. I had heard of the Surface.
Yeah.
And I was trying to encourage you to sing 2010.
Yeah.
And you said, I have another song, it's real big, it's real bad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that night and the first time that you really sang Beneath the Surface to the public.
Well, from your show?
Yes.
Oh boy, oh boy, that was something. When I got this song, the same fella, Edison Isaac, which is my good friend, I'll call him my godfather. He's my godfather. Because he stick with me in every way. Edison, from the time Edison heard that song, Edison went crazy. He went mad. He said, Roy, if you don't get picked this year for the Savannah, it's something they have against you personally. He went crazy. He wasn't too crazy over Shot. He seen 2010 as a backup song, but he was crazy. Take the tape from me and he have it on his desk. Even now, if you go to his office, he have it on his desk. And when I hear the song and I start playing the song, there's a feeling, there's a passion, there's a soul to soul with that song. It talk about the sadness and the sorrows of men, what they went through, the light bulb inventor, which is Thomas Edison, and how 2,000 times before the bulb could come, and then he still keep trying. He never see it as a mistake. All he just see it as how not to make bulb.
Sometimes I just get angry when I see somebody watch an ex-man achievement and declare that that was easy. They don't see all the struggle and all the failure. They quickly form allegiance to toast the winner. But in this life, there's a truth, and every tree you see have a root. And it's from way below the surface you bring up your fruit. Now Thomas Edison, the light bulb inventor, this 2,000 times he failed before the bulb could light. And when he reached age 67, a fire cost him 2 million. That's when the studio burned to the ground one December 9. But he stood strong, faithful to his craft. And 3 weeks later, released his first phonograph. You know why? You see, he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I say he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Okay, Shaq.
And then he talk about Nelson Mandela, how Nelson Mandela suffered. Nelson Mandela could have died as a rat in prison. He was in this cell for 27 years and he became president of South Africa. And all the passion, everything that goes with the song. And then I keep playing the song, hypnotizing myself with this song, and more the songs start growing on me. And one night GB tell me in a room, he said, listen, Roy, you become the songs now, and the songs are you. And you are the songs now, and it's time to move on.
I like that.
Yeah,
well, you know, I want to talk about Dimash Granite in particular because you were never seen as a favorite, even to come in the top 3.
Yeah.
Yet you came out there and gave a perfect professional performance.
Right.
Talk about what you saw in that competition and how you went about your delivery.
Well, in the Dimash Granite, to tell you, Alvin, I was scared. When I say scared, when I see Denise Plummer come with these big men, and they bring her on the limousine, the straight limousine with Kitchener, and Sugar Allows had a car come and lock him up and all that, I was scared. But GB, great boy, he keep telling me, that is just 10 points, Roy. You have lyrics and you have melody.
Our Gene Samuel fall asleep on a Canadian lawn. He couldn't make it back home after training. He was too tired to go on. Stephen Ames at age 7, he was on the golf putt. Ryan Lara came to live extreme while only a little tot. Got to hold and show them world class last year. Coming back from depth of despair, Hazley Crawford, he couldn't quit because his vision was clear. Michael Jordan, Bulls basketball superstar. In high school, he was kicked off the basketball team. And Decca record and label once said to the Beatles, we don't like your song and group with the guys and yesterday dream. But he made song, they compose and rhyme. And today they're the greatest pop group of our time. Because they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you can miss unless you look below the surface. I say they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you can miss unless you look below the surface.
So where would you go from here now?
Well, I made a promise to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and myself that I think I could pull off the monarchy for 5 years. I think I could hold that seat for 5 years.
Well, we look forward to that.
All right.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
He had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I say he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
You're bound to come back as some insect or animal. Well, if you saw me, don't want to be no donkey. Neither a sheep or goat or monkey. My big brother say he want to come back and hug. But not me friends, I want to be a bedbug. Whereby I'm going to bind them young ladies' partner like a hot dog or a hamburger. And if you know your thing, don't be in a fright. It's only big fat woman I'm going to buy.
Well done. I want to congratulate you personally.
Thank you very much, Alvin.
You have already shown us that you can be a great monarch, and we wish you the best in 1999.
Thank you very much, sir.
We go out with the tune of the moment, Beneath the Surface. See you next week on Calypso Showcase.
As a nation, we will do well to train our young, not to adopt a luck and chance approach or a gaming For they will dream of easy money and sweet tomorrow. From a get-rich scheme with a 1 in 100,000 ratio. We need to build foundations of truth. Trees that send down good roots, not parasites that sucks at ill-gotten fruits. Albert Einstein couldn't even speak till he was 4. Couldn't read a line until he was 7 years old. And his teachers call him a drifter, an unsociable dreamer. Soon he was expelled and kicked off the road. Nevertheless, he remained a strong optimist. And today he's known as the greatest of physicists. You know why? He had the stuff great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look